as a whole?
Exhibition game, certainly. I like the effort. You know, that's what we have to base ourselves on: effort and compete. And I thought we got that. And we got some push there'll be some push. The guys want to play because some guys did a job today. They got a chance to play. Other guys will get a chance to play on Monday and establish themselves. And we want that positive competition. You know, it's a lot different if you're not having success and then everybody's like, oh, he's not doing very good, I should play. It's a whole different ball of wax when guys are doing well and they're pushing each other. Then you get growth, and it's easier to have the attitude heading in the right direction if you have enjoyed a little bit of success.
It looked like, especially in the first period, we saw a lot of attack in numbers. How important is that to have those support guys there, you know, as you're pushing deep into corners to try to get pucks?
Well, I mean, self-evident. How would you like to send one guy into a battle? You know what I mean? Like to a gang fight. You know, it's a lot better if you got a lot of guys with you. Have a better chance of having success. So it's important. Good to see Leiper getting the boards, and we got to find a way to get 15 goals out of our defensive core in league play. I believe OC got one tonight.
Yeah.
Leiper got one, so 2 goals came from defense. So every indicator that I would hope for the most part, we saw. I'm really thankful to Damon for bringing his group over here and playing. They're a veteran group, but this early stuff is just for evaluation purposes, and it'll be good for Lake Superior because Damon will maybe be able to do some things to change some lines or whatever to tell those guys, okay, now let's do this. And it's good for us because we got some push from our depth now. You know, that's a little bit. They have a whole team back. I didn't see a freshman dress tonight. I don't think they had a freshman dressing. I think they only have 2 on the roster. So they've got competition as well that will be on the other way. They'll be hungry, and we've got competition that's hungry because some guys stepped up and did a good job.
Well, that was one of the things I wanted to get to, was the fact that that's a veteran-laden group. You've got a lot of new faces, whether it's the 3 transfers or the, 10 freshmen?
I think 17 that never wore a jersey are on our roster. 17 new guys.
So I mean, what did you like about the compete level in the fact that, you know, that's a veteran group you were up against and you guys hung with them, you know, as well as you could?
Well, you know, I think there were some guys that, you know, you can't change, what do they say, stripes on a tiger, spots on a leopard, whatever. Some guys still had a little bit of trouble with that. Others that we have been unseen for us, you know, Jed Pietla, Marcus Pedersen, Nordy, you know, Alex Nordstrom, who, I mean, those guys competed hard. Rasmussen, those guys competed hard works, you know. I told him, you know, the hit at the end, I didn't see it, but, you know, it's a, whatever it is, 5-2 game, a minute left. You know, there's no, you know, let's do things a little bit differently, but he competes. He's got a snarl to him. So, you know, the compete is everything with us. It's everything with me. I'm sure everybody, including the people listening, hate to hear me say hard skill, but you first have to be hard and then work on your skill, and then you turn into Helen and a bull. Then you turn into Bliss, you know, and then you turn into your Missiak, competitive little bugger that anybody would want. It starts with passion and work ethic, and then, you know, people say all the time, you'd rather have work will beat skill if skill doesn't work. So, you know, how important is it? It's, you know, like oxygen.
You had Kyle playing with Logan Pietla and Mosley. Mosley's one of those guys that you talk about every time we talk about hard skill. What do you like about having Kyle with those two as far as getting to learn from those guys about what you're looking for? Well,
they're going to learn some things from Kyle too. I mean, this kid's a tremendous talent. We'll have to, you know, my biggest deal with him is that it's going to be, we're going to have to hold him accountable to learning. Now, I think he'll do that himself because he's a drafted hockey player, an elite player, you know, one of the best to come out of Minnesota, you know, top 2 for sure, if not the best in his age group. We're fortunate to have him. We got him because of our athletic director's his aunt. We didn't get him by any magical recruiting, but we sure are lucky to have him. And what I don't want him to do is get lax because he's going to get ice time.
Yeah.
I have to still hold an accountability structure with him to help him grow his game, to help our team and to help himself. You know, there's a way that I think is important for guys. He's a little different. We have a lot of guys that signed free agent contracts that weren't drafted and develop and sign free agent contracts. He's a little different. You know, I'd love to see him, you know, have be rookie of the year, and next year they're trying to sign him. You know what I mean? And that's what we're after. But I'm glad we have a couple players to play with him that can help him grow. So, you know, you're right on what you're saying. And he is a talent, so we're lucky to have him.
You used him on the power play and on the penalty kill. Obviously he's got a lot of skill, but what else do you like in his game?
Speed. Like you saw him. I was talking to Dirk before the game in the pregame interview, and we were talking about how we have to, you know, even if we have guys that aren't necessarily fast, they can be a lot faster. I mean, it's just math. It's A to B, and you can wait. The goal that he scored, as an example, and we just talked about that, Dirk and I did. The goal he scored is the best combination you can have is speed and hard skill. The best combination you can have, and that's what the NHL people look for. And that hard skill part of skill is hockey IQ. Now the goal he got was a pressure situation. We had good pressure by our F1 on the D. That caused a kind of maybe a soft. Maybe the guy didn't get as much as he wanted on the DD pass. But if Kyle sits back and doesn't play off that pressure on the DD, he still does a good play defending. He goes out, gets his coverage. What guy gets the pass? He goes out, handles his coverage. But if he anticipates and says, "Okay, I got a couple different roles here," but I like that pressure. If that puck comes, if I can get it, I'm going after it. And he anticipated. Well, then with the speed, there's no one catching him. Right. You know, McDavid's not catching him. You know, when you got to turn and catch up to him, he's got that explosive speed. So his intelligence, I knew he was good. He's better than I knew he was. He's better than I knew he was, because I thought there'd be more of I thought there'd be a little bit more stagger in his game and things, and there's not. You know, he's a pretty fluid effort.
Jankowski steps in here. He's a kid that did score at St. Lawrence. How important is it to be to get him going right away? He gets 2 assists today, but just to get him involved in the offense.
Well, good and bad with him. His deal with me, first of all, he had 8 goals his freshman year, then 4, 4, and 4. You know, those are you know, we're looking for 12. You know what I mean? So and I think his highest point total, I think it was 16. Last year was his highest point total. I mean, he's got like 12, 14, 16, something like that. And those are you know, borderline bottom third line numbers. Now he does have the ability around the net. What we want to get, I don't want him to think that he doesn't have to grind, because he's one of the guys that there are a few times he had a chance to angle, he had a chance to do some things. If he can get the puck on his stick through hard play, that will enhance our offensive opportunities. If he doesn't angle and he doesn't get above his check and he doesn't compete and win a battle or whatever, and they play, you know, whatever, 5 shifts a game when he's on the ice, in our zone that could have been, if with a better effort in the offensive zone, we're losing opportunity. And he can make a play, and he can shoot the puck to score. So, you know, hopefully that this fuels him and excites him to, you know, to continue to grow and show big gains for us.
You mentioned Jed and Alex and Marcus. Were you happy with the fact that they went out and put a real solid effort out in this first appearance for all of them?
I am happy that they were ready to go. I'm happy that they were ready to go and gain some confidence in this game. That's, you know, exhibition game. You know, NHL teams, I don't know, they play 12 exhibition games. You know, they play a third of our season in exhibition games and then play 80 and then play 2.5 months of playoffs. What I'm happy is that those guys grew tonight, and, you know, at some point we're hoping that they drive and are the examples for the next group that comes in. They had a great group to watch, and in some ways, a lot of guys just seem to me to kind of let those other guys do what they do. Let them be the alphas. Let Hallinan be his gig. Let Bliss be his gig. Let those guys will do. And they didn't take the initiative and the responsibility to try to take those other guys' ice, because that would have only made us all better. So what I'm happy with is that they showed that having a larger roster last year, even though there's so many guys that never played, are maybe a little bit farther ahead than by us doing that. There was a reason we did it. I've said that I think our recruiting has been a little bit questionable. But I'm sure proud of these guys for stepping in. And some other guys will get a chance on Monday night to do the same thing. And again, now the focus is a little bit more because some guys did play well. Gainey played very well.
Right.
Gainey got 2 goals for us tonight. He played very well. So Jed played well. Our defensive core overall was good. Thorne was great. Lake was great. So, and we got great goaltending. I mean, he made his saves. They got some scoring chances, and he made his saves. So it was a good effort.
Well, and I wanted to get to Blake because he had a couple of times in front of the net where your defense broke down a little bit and somebody got open, and he was there to make sure he made that save.
He's always there. You got a lot of questions. You're enjoying this, aren't you?
Oh yeah.
He was. He's always there for us. He's an all-league pick for a reason, and he keeps it close. Gave us a chance tonight. We got some early goals, and he stayed solid. So. He's a great goaltender. He's had a great career. He's a shutout leader here at Michigan Tech. It's not easy.